So today is not a presentation, but more of an exchange between us on accounting practices on Community Edition. So this will unfold as maybe a 20-minute, 15-minute, according to the clock, on exchanging information on all national markets, maybe exchanging information or the challenges or struggles that we may find in our day-to-day operation, implementing community accounting, and maybe keeping 5 to 10 minutes to exchange on possibility or ideas and proposals to tackle these challenges. Just before we start, I'm Julien. I work with Numigi. I've been working with Numigi for 5 years and a half, and I've been working on Odoo for 6 years approximately. So I've been working in both enterprise and community version on accounting and other domain as well.
And hi everybody, so I'm Quentin. I'm with Numigi as well from the start, and I've been on Odoo for 7 years now. And Numigi, we're an integrator located in Montreal, Canada, so in the French part of the country. Before we dive in, we'll just do a quick survey by show of hands to have the feeling of the crowd. So by show of hands, in which regions are you guys located? So for America, not so many people. Europe, okay, mostly, and then Asia. Yes. Africa, one, and Oceania. One. Okay, so mostly Europe. But anyway, the goal here will be to talk broadly about the challenges in the accounting, not necessarily related to one region or the other. Again, by show of hands, who here cover accounting in most of their projects? So about a bit more than the half. And to cover those accounting needs, do you mostly use the enterprise or community version? So for enterprise and community. Okay, so half and half as well. And are there people here that have been using the accounting modules, but that did a migration from any version to version 14 in accounting? How was it? Okay. Okay. All right.
So maybe we'll start with giving some feedbacks on what we see in Quebec, Canada, so that maybe we can have a different perspective on national market. It will be mostly in Europe, but I think it can be helpful as well for Oceania or Africa. So in Quebec, we have so these are the key subject of interest for today. So if you can note it to give feedbacks to us afterwards. So Community Edition is becoming harder for new partners to integrate because Odoo tend to cut off some key features version after version, and so for new partners it's becoming difficult. In Quebec we tend to have very few partners that work with accounting on Community Edition. And that's worrying because at the end of the day, if we have no more partners working with Community Edition for accounting, this will probably get less clients working with Community Edition overall. So even experienced partners, some say to our clients or prospects that Community Edition no longer support accounting from V12. So even experienced partners don't want anymore to fight to deploy accounting on Community Edition. And new partners as well, they are easily convinced by Odoo that Odoo Accounting is Odoo Enterprise only. So, and with all of this, we fear that on the mid or long term, we'll end up with a user base of Community Edition that will get smaller and smaller, and that is not profitable for the dynamic of the community on Odoo. So that's why we wanted to share and maybe get some feedback from other integrators in other places in the world. So who wants to start with their feedback and struggle maybe on Community Edition?
Let's
yes.
start from one side of the room across to the other.
Yes.
We're a Dutch integrator there. I think across 30 or so implementations that we're running right now, about 20 of them handle accounting. Even those handful of projects that involve Odoo Enterprise are still very much community supported because we tend to use modules that we know, for example, payment orders, instead of the stupid way Odoo themselves implement payments. And I tend to recommend community modules, and this still gets accepted by our customer base at least. Now, 20 is not a surveyable number, it's just... Thank you. It's just a very small number, I would say, but what you're telling me here right now, that the fear is that in Quebec at least the customer base will be shrinking. I don't foresee that happening in my part of Europe yet. Now the other thing you alluded to was migrating to 14. For our localization, that was a big fat killer on our own internal migration because it ended up being on us to retag all the move lines because VAT tags weren't being correctly set. So, I mean, none of our customers were involved with this problem, but had one of them been, that would have been a massive headache. I think, Danny, you spent like 80 hours on getting the migration right. Now, it was also your first foray into Open Upgrade, but that is one of the reasons why I would possibly in the future recommend people, if these kinds of things happen, and it was because of an Odoo refactor, an Odoo SA refactor, if these kinds of things keep happening, then I might in the future tell people, okay, switch around from community, go into enterprise, because you as a single client cannot cover these costs because they're exorbitant. So 2 points. Community still very much possible. The risk is, for example, in core Odoo refactors, which in a single localization can end up being development hell for a single customer. My 2 cents.
Thanks. Thank you. Anyone else who wants to share on their project or challenges recently?
So I am Virginie. I work for CopyTZ, which is a Belgian-based cooperative here in Brussels. And we work with only Community Edition. We work mainly on the version 12 right now for the accounting. And I cannot find other Odoo integrators who are doing the full accounting on Community in Belgium. So I suppose there are, but I don't know where. I was thinking of Axon, but I've heard they don't do it. And so it's quite hard to maintain, for example, the tax report on the version 14. I've been working on it, but all the tax changed, and Stefan helped me, but it's not finished yet. And I'm thinking the same thing. We won't be able to support that on the long run. And we work with accounting cooperative as well, who works on Odoo, and they think of going to Odoo Enterprise because of that.
Okay.
So same experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone else to share on this, on his experience on latest version, maybe 14 or 12?
Hi, I'm Graham. I guess I'm an accountant, so I take a slightly different view of things in that if you look at the core of accounting, it's identical on Community as it is in Enterprise. I mean, Enterprise adds some nice stuff, reconciliation, some reports. Reports is typically what it sells, but if you look at the underlying data models, they're identical. And so, and I've got installations on both Community and on Enterprise, and the migration of them is roughly the same. Anybody who's done Odoo Enterprise migration through version 13 was really the big changes. Will know that Odoo's Enterprise migration is far from perfect, and getting through that particular hiccup. Open Upgrade took a different approach, but nonetheless had problems as well. I think that was just, what we saw come out of Odoo after that was now when you write new code and refactor it, you have to write migration scripts at the same time, because it wasn't a mess for us, it was a mess for everybody, right? So for me, really the only difference between Community and Enterprise from an integrator's perspective is the reporting. And the display of information, and of course there's reconciliation. But apart from that is the underlying everything else about it is identical. And then of course you've got the migration side, but it's a lot easier to fix mistakes that happen in Open Upgrade than it is to fix mistakes that happen in Enterprise migration, that's for sure.
Thanks. Who else? Maybe someone in, I don't know, Asia? There was someone from Asia. Do you want to share with us?
No, I have.
You haven't done any project on accounting?
Yes, we have, but all of our project is customization, fully customization.
Fully customization. Okay. Thanks.
I'm from Asia. What was the question? I just came, so I'm not sure.
Actually, we just share our experiences and point of view and perspective on our national markets. So we were just exchanging our challenges that we came across during the project and the migration with the last evolution of Odoo.
Well, it doesn't matter, it's enterprise or community. Migration is always a hard thing, pain, for sure. If you ask us about Asian market in terms of accounting, especially to talk about, we have some projects in Asia as well, some in Europe as well. The only difference we see is the readiness of a product for Asian market. Odoo is not fully yet fit compared to the European market. So I believe accounting, first discussing about accounting. Accounting is not well handled within Odoo in any version so far. No doubt they are improving so well. The recent change they did in version 13 of removing the invoice and just keeping every only account moves, that was a copy from QuickBooks, I believe. So that has made things much better for end users. But in terms of migration, even though it is enterprise migration, as he said, yes, it takes a lot of time. There are multiple loops of, let's say, 5 or 6 times you will get a failure from Odoo enterprise side. Then they will give you a dump. They say, okay, test it out and so on. But yeah, talking about readiness of a customer to see accounting features, enterprise has an edge for sure. Enterprise is a plus side when they have on-screen reporting. Accountants, they are not technical people. They want everything on the screen. So that's where accounting enterprise in Odoo has an edge. About the migration, we have also done open upgrade migrations. But as he said, yes, it is easy to fix a problem in open upgrade because we have great community here, that we should have a claps for the community. They are doing a lot. But fixing a problem in Odoo side takes a bit longer time than open upgrade. So I would prefer open upgrade in migration is better. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. We have 5 minutes left. Maybe we can share all our ideas and proposals from what we saw speaking with different partners and seeing the market going. So as for the latest version, it's becoming more difficult for new partners to make their own recipe of accounting. Of course, there are aspects that are really depending on the country you're in, but there are common features that could be merged into one package to have the life of new integrators facilitate with accounting project. Also, something that could be done to have a clearer view on the market with accounting and community edition. Maybe we could say that having a feedback quantitative on the use of community edition for accounting would be helpful to follow the trend and see where it's going. And also qualitative surveys could be helpful into proposing new features that could be resolving not bug but fears on new partners onboarding community edition for accounting. So that was our ideas, speaking with different partners and seeing the market going. But if maybe we have a few minutes left. If you have something to add, maybe.
Yeah, I'll just grab the microphone back off. So I think to your first one up there is that making a common accounting package is that I think that that's really kind of the next evolution of a lot of the OCA, not just for accounting, in that we have 4,000 modules now, I think someone was telling me the other day, and we need to start just packaging them, putting the nice res config settings around, making it look more like, so when you click this button, it will install that module and that kind of thing. And I think that's a really valuable piece of work that can be done in accounting, logistics, sales, across the board, right? Is that today for a new partner, you need to know that this module does this, this module does this, this module does this, and you need to install it. Whereas if we can start to give those things a front end, I think that will make the OCA much, much stronger in terms of its presentation to newer users and partners.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? No? So I think we are done. Maybe this will generate more exchange or discussion for tonight, but we'll see. Thank you for your presence, and thank you for we thank the sponsor event for this event. Thank you.